All right, welcome back. That was a wonderful jam cast of the Adam Bodine Trio. Thank you, Palm Arts, for bringing the jazz series this summer to Telluride. I am here with Gabe Lifton Zoline, and we're going to get into the Original Thinkers Festival. But before we go there, let me hear your Telluride story.
Well, it's a long story, I think. I was born and grew up here. I lived here off and on my whole life. My folks are still here. My sister's still here. So it was nice. It was a great place to grow up. And you know, I live mostly in LA now, and I've lived all over, but I'm excited, and I've been looking for a way to try to spend more time here. And so when Original Thinkers came up, and David Holbrook and I have been friends for a long time, kind of chatting about that, being like, and I was like, how do I figure out how to spend, half my year in Telluride? And this came up, and it's such an interesting way to do it, to both be here, to get to interact and build something for the community, but also to be bringing people in. I feel very lucky to do it.
So what is your role with Original Thinkers?
I believe my title is co-conspirator. So we have fun titles, and it's a little bit of everything. I kind of, I'm helping David with the overall shaping and the programming, and just kind of trying to build out how do we do something that's really born from the community. And we talk about ourselves a lot as being community built, and I think that's really important to us, that both there's a real action component in terms of what comes out of this, that you're not just inspired and excited by it, but also that it moves you to change maybe what you do in your own life or to get involved in action. And my background is as a political organizer, so to me that idea of making sure people are engaged, whatever it is, whether it's through politics or through art or through film or through talks, that you get out in the world and do something. I think that we're going to really move people to do that.
And as far as pulling this together, can you share some triumphs and challenges of starting a festival from scratch with such...
Yeah, I mean, the triumphs, hopefully we'll see after the weekend,
right.
And see where we get to. I think one of the triumphs is always you try to create these things and you try to do it in a way that resonates with people. And I think for us, it's both the internal bit of that, of just how do we conduct ourselves in the office? How do you make sure that you're incredibly friendly with everyone and treating people with respect, and that bubbles out. But then that bubbles out to your audience and your guests as well. And so I'm hoping that when people come to the festival and take a deep breath, right? Like, we're in this beautiful place. And part of why Ideas Festivals from Davos to Aspen Institute and the Ideas Festival they do have started in the mountains is that it's a great place to come and relax and retreat, but why also get filled up with ideas and filled up with things. So I'm really hoping that kind of suffuses the whole festival, and people come, have an amazing weekend, and whether you're local or not, kind of get reoriented around some things that matter, and be exposed to some really big thinking that challenges the status quo. I mean, I think part of why Original Thinkers make so much sense in Telluride is that Telluride as a community has a kind of beautiful, more radical, more tough edge to it, infused with real original thinking from LL Nunn on. We're a community that kind of, to the free box, right? Like, we grapple with these things, and I think we're just trying to sustain some of that energy, bring it back, but also highlight what happens here already.
So with the festival that's so community-based, how do you see it impacting Telluride?
I see it as, I think, this in this first year, I think it'll be so exciting to have folks come up. We have a lot of free programming happening. So we have the Brainstorm stage, which is our outdoor speaker series, where we have talks that are going to be happening there with amazing people. Ron Suskind, most of our guests will come through at some point. We have the Down Lows.
Always popular.
Which are always popular, and so those will be with a mix of locals and people workshopping their own stories to tell, but also some of our guests who will be coming and doing one. So, that'll be really interesting. We have the Synapse Amphitheater at the top of Lift 1, and so we'll be doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday free programming there. So I think the impact will be people should come, check it out, see what we're about, all as well as what's happening in the main theater. But I think it's partly, we live in tumultuous times, and I think, deep thinking and substantive churning through of ideas it's harder and harder, from my purview, to find places to do that. And I think we're setting aside a brief little window in our own small way to say, hey, we can set aside all of this crazy stuff and this yelling and just like talk about ideas and see them from multiple angles. And I'm so excited for people to come into these shows and examine an idea in such a kind of 360 way, through films, through the speakers, through the performance. So I think it'll be a really interesting way for people to get at these certain ideas in different ways.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for coming in and telling us about it. And who do we have here?
This is Bruno. Bruno!
Sleeping on the job?
You're going to come up and say hi? No. He's not.
Well, there you have it.
Small dog down there.
Gabe, thanks for coming in and talking to us here in the studio.
Thanks for
We
having
are
me.
looking forward to the weekend. Original Thinkers, check it out.